Sinn Féin Mayo TD Rose Conway is labelling it unfair that people who had their theory driving test cancelled due to lockdown are now being pushed to the back of the queue. And Deputy Conway-Walsh is with me on the line. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Jerry.
Tell me about the rescheduling. How is it being done to your understanding? This is 31,000 tests that were booked for the period of level 5 restrictions that had to be rescheduled, I understand.
That's right, Jerry. I mean, if we look at the whole debacle, we have over 90,000 learner drivers waiting for tests. Now, Kerry, there's a big problem in Kerry as well, because when we look at it, people waiting in Kerry, we have 2,030 people waiting for driving tests there. But we put in a question to the Minister during the week around the tests and the theory tests. We've 65,552 waiting for theory tests. Now, 31 of those were postponed during the level 5 lockdown. And what the Minister is doing, he's pushing those to the back of the queue. So they won't be seen now until February or March. And we believe that that's totally unfair just because they were caught in the lockdown. And that's why we're suggesting to him that he needs to find other ways around this. Now, one of the things that he could do, he could put those online, and that would speed things up as well. But he has a number of days before we come out of this lockdown to be able to correct this, and we believe that he should.
Indeed, and from that point of view, how do you feel it should be done? If let's say the online is one answer, but in terms of the schedule in which these people booked their tests, should it just have been paused and restarted once the restrictions are lifted?
Exactly. It should have been paused. I'm not talking about pause for a period of time, but it should be paused. And then those people should not be at a disadvantage just because they were caught in the lockdown situation. Now, on the wider issue as well, obviously they need to engage additional driving instructors and testers. They need to have longer opening hours, and they need to have weekend tests as well. It's an enormous problem, Jerry, and it's a particular problem for rural areas like Kerry and like Mayo, because we depend on transport. We depend on our own transport. So you have this, we don't have the choice to hop on a bus or hop on a tube or on a Lewis to get to work or wherever we may need to get to. We are dependent on this. It has a knock-on effect as well on insurance, because people's insurance will be at a higher level, obviously, if they don't have the test, and also in terms of accompanied drivers. So you'll have young people who are trying to get to work, but their parents will have to drive them to work so that they have an accompanied driver with them. So that is grossly unfair, and it's knocking on into employment opportunities. And God knows we have enough people unemployed in the country without people
I'm just thinking of next
jobs.
February and March. I'm just thinking of possibly opening up into the new tourist season. Young person trying to get a job, they don't have a car. It's going to be a major inconvenience.
Oh, for sure it is, and that's why he needs to look at it. You know, these things sometimes there's unintended consequences, and they don't look beyond, of a civil servant or somebody saying, right, we'll push these to the back of the queue because it's the easiest way. But it's certainly not the easiest way for young drivers and families. It needs to be looked at. And I do think if it wasn't a rural... I often find this, Jerry, that if something is impacting greater on rural areas, that it's not given the same priority or the same thinking. And I think that type of mindset really needs to change across a whole lot of issues, but particularly across this driving issue as we're faced with now.
And that is an issue of concern. So look, action needs to be taken, an answer needed, either online or reschedule the tests again in the fair format from your point of view.
Exactly, and I hope he'll listen to this, listen to us on this, because so many times things are just battered away because solutions come from an opposition party. But really, we need to be all on the same page here and all on the same pitch, and it needs to be fixed.